A very good morning to you and welcome to the show. My name is Koi. Now, depression is more than just feeling upset or sad. It's a serious illness that leaves you feeling down most of the time and finding it hard to cope from day to day. Depression isn't just about feeling low. It usually leads to lasting changes in how you feel, act, and think. Now, yesterday we began speaking to Walter and Janet and got to hear how it all started for her. Janet suffers from both anxiety and depression, and Walter is not only her husband, but her carer as well. Janet may be suffering from the condition, but one thing that is certain is that she's not giving up in living the quality life that she desires. We pick up from the story yesterday, up next on Mid-Morning Lifestyle.
Everybody, have a happy time. Clap your hands, put them up to the sky.
I think Janet has succeeded in her life in general. I can maybe start with her spirituality. She started thinking about spirituality before me. So she's the one who introduced me to the Bible. I used to be very critical, analytical on things. But now she helps me to become the person I am today spiritually. Then I think she's also succeeded as our wife. We married at 22 years old. We were like little kids. All our friends are single in campus. But this is the 6th year and we are happy. As a family, we can say confidently that we are happy. As a wife, she succeeded also to take care of me, encourage me. Those days when I didn't have a job, we were kids, we were 22 only. We were young, much younger. So being with someone, a lady being with someone at that age, I think it's tough. It takes a lot of guts. But she's stuck in there, till now where we are right now, which is much more stable than where we came from. Then I think she succeeded as a mom also, as in all over. Whenever, even when we take Tiffany to, let's say the Irungus or other friends to stay there, for 2 or 3 days, they always come back and tell us, man, you have an exceptional kid. Can we stay with her one more day? She's helped our kids to get more discipline. Or they've helped each other with the kids.
Have a happy time. Clap your hands, put them up to the sky. Give a smile to the Most High.
We've known Janet and Walter for since 2008. That should be this is our 5th year. The other thing is they were our neighbor now before they moved to where they live right now.
I think personally, Janet and I have come from far because I know it's been a back and forth kind of. Especially me trying to understand and her trying to also understand that I don't sometimes understand. It's been quite, there's several times Janet and I have had some conflicts and we've had again to sit down and resolve because then, because at one moment Janet can be well, then the next moment she's completely down. And I think sometimes reaching that understanding, you are okay, what happened the next minute? But I think what I really appreciate about Janet is, first of all, she's tried to understand that at times I don't understand. But at the same time, I've also tried to understand that it's there, the condition is there. And with my little understanding, I still need to support where I can.
But I think the most important thing is just our presence, being there and just asking what else can we do. Though most of the time we just hear that she's gone through this attack in our absence. But when we are there, we help. So
I try to give my support in terms of being there. Trying to help her with the talk therapy. So at times it's either through texting that I'm able to find out, so how are you, Janet? How is it going? At times we talk. I know affirmation does well with Janet. So it's try to understand what is it that boosts her as a person and being able to give her all the support.
For me, it took a really long time. Until I joined the support group, that's when I saw myself as, as any other normal person. But before that, I was stigmatizing myself, yeah. But now I've accepted, I'm able to talk about it. I also do a lot of mental health advocacy, just letting people know about it.
For me, 'cause I was separated, I sinned from His love, but salvation just made me free.
I remember once we were going to church It was on a Thursday for our midweek service. I was driving, can't remember whether Walter was seated next or Walter was seated behind with Janet. So we take a turn. Before we arrived at church, Janet suddenly blacked out. And she, for some time, she was lying down. Then she started, having some foam in the mouth. Then when she started regaining conscious, she started sort of like crying, and it was really painful. You could see what she was going was really intense. And it took time, and it was kind of scary to see what she was going through. It's as I said, it's one thing to read something, and it's another thing to experience it, because I was not sure really whether she'll make it. But she's such a fighter.
Yeah, at first it was really hard to talk to people. I'd hide a lot. I had all these coping mechanisms, one of them being alcohol, just anything not to be termed as depressed or, something like that.
I was really cancelled before I married her in terms of her condition. I had a counselor whose husband was blind, and the counselor was like, "Are you sure you want to take on a lifelong condition? It would take unless there was a miracle or some medicine, some breakthrough in medicine, she'll have this condition for the rest of her life. In fact, it may even be the cause of her death." So I was asked all those tough questions, and I was like, "Are you still going to marry Janet? Are you sure?" And my answers were yes. And it's been rough. We've had our rough times. It's been sometimes it's been expensive, but I believe I'm a better man. She's a better lady, and our family, our kids keep getting better because of her strength, despite the challenges.
I never had a love like this. I never had a joy like this.
I believe Janet has made great progress, even despite the different challenges she's been going through.
Okay, I consider myself successful in terms of I'm productive. I'm not just at home, tied somewhere in chains. Then I'm not dead, from all those attempts. It's just amazing what God can do.
Whenever we meet, she'll always talk about her dreams and what she wants to achieve. The last time we spoke when I was here, she put some songs that she's producing for me to listen to and give my input.
She gets sick sometimes and is not able to go to work. But whenever she's at work, she does her best. As in, she's stayed with the same band. She's been with Kitangoma and Kayamba Africa for 2 years, or 2 years plus. And she still leaves an impact. She gets the biggest, let me say she helps to get the biggest tips, because I think the band is a whole collective affair. Then she's finished her album. It's hard for anyone, especially people with mental illness, to finish things. The finishing factor is normally a problem because of the anxiety, but she's able to beat that and finish her album. Then finally, as an advocate for mental health, she does a great job.
If it's time for me to sing, then I do my best so that when I'm unwell, they actually feel, we need her, as opposed to just using it as an excuse for not performing well or not reaching the work standard.
Walter has also really shown some great strength. Not many men would be as strong as he is, and I've told him that many times. He's such a strong man, and he's always been there for her, even through all these intense experiences.
Walter's support is priceless. First, just legally, he's allowed to leave, you can leave a spouse, divorce a spouse on grounds of unsound mind, yet he's chosen to stay, which for me just shows me the whole aspect of how love is just big. And through sickness and in health, he's not left at all, and I just thank God for that. Yeah, he's like I call him the backbone of our family, because I really don't know where I'd be if I didn't have his support.
she's a great mother to Tiffany and Ted. Taking them to picking them from school. Taking them to school is hard, but what she does is at night she always makes sure that she puts all the clothes that they'll wear. This is what you do. You prepare this food. She prepares food in advance, and she makes sure that there's food in the house. Even if she travels for 4 days, there'll be food for 4 days in the house.
I think one of the best things that are happening, especially now, is to see someone like Janet who is willing to come out to the open and say, this is what I'm going through. What we lack is awareness. People have no idea. They think anybody who's going through a mental challenge is violent and all those different things that are very negative, and they try and keep aloof because they are afraid of what would happen. So for me, I think people need to know that there's a big percentage of our population that is going through different psychological challenges, and the only way for us to help them to overcome that is obviously to also read more.
So my advice is that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and as long as you support the people as much as possible, they'll make it. And also yourself as a carer, it is tough. There's, I don't know, they call it carer's burden or something. It's heavy when you have someone who's sick. So you also need to get counseling, get help, talk to your friends, get a sort of support system. Whenever you feel like something is beyond you, you can call someone and share with them. And personally, with the determination, you can also succeed in whatever you're doing.
The other thing is to interact with people whom we know or suspect are going through the challenge, and try and learn from them what they go through. When you know what someone is going through, you easily, empathize. So it's hard for people to change if they don't know and understand the condition. They'll always remain with that, whatever was impressed in them when they were growing up.
Everybody have a happy time. Clap your hands, put them up to the sky. Give a smile to the Most High. Everybody.
For me, ECT would be the last resort. At first, I was really against it, but seeing how it's gone, I'd say if I was ever to reach, I have this whole treatment plan. So if I was ever to reach that level again, then I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that being used as a last resort. Though I don't think it's something I'd like for it to just be used regularly, because as I said, it's an intense procedure. You really have to count the cost before you go through it.
Yeah, I also think ECT was it was an intense procedure, but it was successful because immediately after ECT, she showed a lot of signs of positivity. There were the side effects of confusion and maybe a few muscle aches, but immediately what I saw was more control of her emotions. She would be able to think through a negative thought completely.
For me, 'cause I was separated, my sin from His love, but salvation just made me free. I do not much work in my life.
It could be slightly expensive. It could take a lot of vulnerability, but seek the right treatment and not just focus on one, because at some point I really focused on the medical aspect, really put away the therapy and the spiritual aspect also. And I feel like if you focus on just one mode of treatment, it rarely goes well. But if you have this whole treatment plan, this whole treatment support system, then it goes really, really well.
Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world?
I come from a family of very many divorces. I mean, there's absolutely no one in my family that is together. Uncles, aunties. Not only do I come from a family of divorces, I come from a family of alcohol. Aunties, uncles, alcoholics. So my whole life growing up was in that environment. People drinking. We were neglected, me and my brother. We just had to sort of survive. At some point, I'm living with my dad alone. At another point, I'm living with my mom alone. At some point, my mother comes back, and they just couldn't live together. So from the year, when I was around 6 years old, my mother eventually left, and so I lived with my dad until Form 2. Then from Form 2 until university, I lived with my mom. So I've never had a mother and a father. But not only did I not have a mother and father together, I did not have an adjusted life. Do you understand what I'm saying? My life was completely maladjusted because I didn't know what it meant to have a family. So in very many ways, I felt like I didn't have parents. So like Njoki said, there are people who have parents together, but what's the problem there? There are issues. You're struggling with an alcoholic parent, abuse, neglect. Your fees is not being paid. I started working very early when I was 20. I joined a theater group to pay my fees because my dad didn't want to pay my fees. And he didn't want to buy food. And didn't want to pay electricity. So we did not have electricity in our house for a year. As in, you go through things in your life, and yet I look at people like you, and you have no parents, and here I had 2 parents who are not together, but I was neglected. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what did I do? I had to take it upon myself to decide which road to take. So the extreme would have been, I'm going to feel sorry for myself. I will stay in that corner and just suffer. Yeah? And the world will have to understand this is what I went through, so please feel sorry for me and cut me some slack. Do you know the world is not like that? It is tough out there because nobody cares. Nobody asked me, oh, teacher, you came from a divorced family. Oh, sorry, your parents were alcoholics. Okay, so now we'll do this. No. Can you do the job? Are you qualified enough? Are you confident enough? Yeah? Then there's the other extreme, which now my sibling, my brother, has taken, which is he's just completely dysfunctional. He drinks. He's been on all manner of drugs. So can you see how 2 people came from the same family but took different paths? I don't drink till today. I stay away from alcohol. For a very long time, I stayed away from men because I didn't want to be in a relationship. I saw what it did to my mom, and it was just a crazy life. So for you, this is my message to you. There's a path, eh? There's like a path that you have to decide which way am I going to take. Will I take that extreme or will I take the other extreme? It's black or white. Somebody told me, Tishi, there's no gray. You're given vanilla and chocolate, and you're told choose. You're not given vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry in the middle. No, you've been given vanilla and chocolate. So which one are you going to choose? It'll have to be one. You decide. It's you. It's your life. Yes, this is the reality. You have no parents. But what are you going to do with that fact? Will you let it get to you? Let people tease you? And a lot of relatives are very good at that. You know them, they're just orphans. We went to a home, Stephanie and myself and Tony. It's a boys' home. These are orphans who have now been taken into a special home for boys in college. And they told us they are so ashamed of talking about themselves being in a home. We're talking about boys who are in University of Nairobi, Daystar, all these colleges, they've been sponsored, but they are orphans and they live in a home. So they don't let people know they've come from a home. Well, we just told them, you know what, that is the fact that you're living. That's a reality that you're in. But what are you going to do with it? So I hope my story encourages you that it's up to you to decide which, like Anne said, where are you going to fall? And it's here. It's the mind. It's what you tell your mind. I told my mind from when I was 6 years old that I'm going to be somebody who will make a difference in this country and in this world. from when I was 6 years old. And from when I was 6 years old, I told my mind that I'm going to be a broadcaster and I'm going to work in television. And I kept telling myself that until I grew and I worked in, it's your mind, it's a powerful thing, yeah? Now, we're not being self-righteous. We know what's going on in the world, eh? Things have changed since we were in high school, which was several years ago. But what I'm telling you is, for now, protect your dignity, preserve your integrity, preserve yourself, because when that time comes, it will present itself in a beautiful way and you'll have no regrets. You'll have no child at home who you got in high school, you had to drop out. Now all your career opportunities, your chances have been messed up. There's a season and there's a time. Stephanie and myself, when we were in high school, and we're not bragging, please get this straight. So we're not showing off, but we were the good girls, yeah? Recently, we were told there's someone actually who was in our year who went on holiday and had a child when we went from one. Now, that for us was a shock because we're like, you mean people were having sex in Form 1? You see, and I know now the time is different, but what I'm trying to tell you is protect yourselves, as girls especially, and I'm also talking to the boys. Protect yourself. Don't go dishing it out. And girls, don't go dishing it out. You're much more valuable than you think. And just because you're orphans, don't let anyone tell you because you're an orphan, you must, give it up. No. You're valuable. You're worthy. You're important. You're going to be somebody in life. When I meet you 10 years from now, you could be the one employing my children. Yeah? You're going to be important people in society. So if you're this sort of girl who we all know, how she sleeps around, and we meet you in university, how she sleeps with lecturers, that's now your reputation. We meet you in the workplace 10 years from, we're like, that's her. That's how you'll be known. You'll be branded like that. Yeah? Please preserve, protect your brand. You're a brand. Say it to yourself, you're a brand. And I will protect my brand. Please, girls, listen to me. And I wish someone, I guess because we were good girls, we didn't fall in that trap, but I wish somebody came to our high school and said that to us when we were boarders like you. I wish somebody came and told us, you know what? There's a season. This is just a passing phase. It will come and it will go. You've worked hard, you've put your best into it, and then that time. And it will be a beautiful thing for you. But if you mess your chances now, you mess your reputation now, do you know it follows you? It follows you. It will never, ever, ever leave you. I repeat this story in every high school we go to. There are girls we know who used to sleep with lecturers and who went to work. And even in the workplace, you meet them and that is how we remember them. They slept with lecturers, they slept for marks, they slept around, they slept with people's husbands. That is how they're known. Because that's their reputation. Your reputation is so crucial to you now. And this is where you start building it. If you're known as the person who stands out, like Boniface, I was so impressed. You know, there are people who you pick out instantly when you go into a forum like this. I was so impressed at how he was. Did you see how he was giving it his all? He gives it his all. He's present. And even when he came to say the poem, he's so there. There are people who stand out. He's already formed a reputation for himself. Preserve your dignity. Protect it, my dear brothers and sisters. It's the little thing that you have now which will count in future. Yeah? And I love the way you're neat, the presentation. These things that you're learning here from your head teacher and your teachers, keeping your dorms neat, that is how you'll keep your homes. Girls, yeah? Don't take it for granted. The fact that you clean, do you know when you go into your homes when you're married, you will start to see those things. If you come to our homes, and I'm not bragging, but they're very, very presentable because of what we learned in school, the foundation that was laid for us. So very quickly, let me just tell you what I wanted to say. That was now an aside. I wanted to tell you, so one of the two things that I learned, I have a lot, but I'll just pick two. One of the things that I learned, and I said, I wish somebody came to tell me this when I was in school, is to love yourself. And that also has to do with preserving and protecting your dignity. Love yourself. Don't allow somebody to mess with your psychology. Be it your best friend, your relative, yourself first. And I'm not saying be selfish. I'm just saying love yourself. There are people who are so negative and they will tear you down. Love that, yeah? Stand out, like Boniface. I mean, I can't get over him. And we were all impressed by him, yeah? Stand out from the crowd, because let me tell you, out there, and we will not lie, it is so competitive. It is you have to have something different about yourself, yeah? Most important information, be informed. In this day and age, you cannot say you don't have access to information. And I'm happy, Joe, you're bringing computers to them. This is your opportunity to get into the world and find out what's going on out there. Just a simple tap of the keyboard, and you know exactly what's going on around you. Be the sort of person who knows what's going on. You know yes, you're far away from Nairobi where things are happening, or so we claim things are happening in Nairobi, but you can be informed. The information will reach you. Yeah? These computers, internet, University of Google, as you like to call it, you can be informed. So you have no excuse not to be informed. Yeah? Don't be ignorant. Know what is happening. Know that there's an election happening somewhere. There's war going on somewhere. Be informed. That makes you stand out. And I'm going to tell you about 3 people who you might not know are orphans. Nelson Mandela, powerful man. The most respected man in the world is Nelson Mandela. Did you know that? Did you know he's an orphan? Steve Jobs. Have you heard of Apple? Did you know he's an orphan? He was adopted at birth. He didn't even know his parents. Now, some of you knew your parents and then they died. Steve Jobs, who has changed our lives around, was adopted at birth. How many of you know Malcolm X? And I can go on and on and on and on. Julius Caesar. You know Julius Caesar? You know Julius Caesar? There are many other people. So these are good examples for you. Look how they've changed the world. So do you believe you can change the world? Yes. Do you promise me that this is a season? It's a time and a season? It will pass? Good. My work is done.
The need for positive mental health promotion is universal and relevant to all of us. It's important to get policymakers, professionals, and lay people to comprehend that mental health and mental well-being are basically issues of everyday life. Positive mental health demands coordinated action by all concerned. Now, this includes the government, local authorities, health, and other social and economic sectors, industry, voluntary organizations, and more importantly, you as an individual. Midmorning at standardmedia.co.ke is the address you can use to share your story. Also, check out our Facebook page. It's called KTN Midmorning, and you can leave your comments there. And of course, if you enjoy the show, then be sure to like our page. Have a nice weekend. Let's meet on Monday.